Imagine, just for a moment, a single decision, one agreement that has the potential to not only pivot the destinies of two pharmaceutical giants, but to fundamentally reshape how cancer is battled on a global scale. This is not a plot from a futuristic novel or a scene in a Hollywood blockbuster. It is very real, and it is unfolding before our eyes. Glenmark Pharmaceuticals, a pioneering force headquartered in the vibrant metropolis of Mumbai, and AbbVie, one of the titans of American healthcare, have recently forged a partnership that could ultimately be worth as much as $2 billion United States dollars. But beyond the attention-grabbing headlines and the jaw-dropping figures, what deeper forces are at work? Why is this deal being hailed by industry veterans, scientific leaders, and market analysts as the dawn of a new era in medical innovation and global health equity? To truly grasp the weight of this moment, we must journey back through the evolution of Glenmark itself. For decades, Indian pharmaceutical companies were recognized primarily for their expertise in generic medicines, producing cost-effective alternatives to branded drugs, and making life-saving therapies accessible across continents where affordability was a major hurdle. However, Glenmark's goals stretched far beyond the replication of generics. Over the past decade, the company has consistently invested more than $70 million United States dollars every single year into research and development. This commitment dwarfs the R&D budgets of many of its local peers and signals Glenmark's relentless pursuit of breakthrough therapies for some of humanity's most formidable diseases. A pivotal chapter began when Glenmark teamed up with Ichnos Sciences, a cutting-edge biotech research collective rooted in New York City. Together, they initiated the ambitious development of ISB-2001, a trispecific antibody designed to combat multiple myeloma. Multiple myeloma is an aggressive blood cancer that strikes plasma cells in the bone marrow, eroding the body's immune defenses. For many, especially those who have already endured every existing treatment, be it chemotherapy, stem cell transplants, or even the revolutionary CAR T-cell therapies, a diagnosis of relapsed or refractory multiple myeloma feels like a final, devastating blow. This is where AbbVie enters the scene. With its deep well of experience in immunology and oncology, AbbVie recognized the extraordinary potential in ISB-2001. The company secured exclusive rights to commercialize the drug in some of the world's most critical and lucrative markets: North America, Europe, Japan, and Greater China. The magnitude of the upfront payment alone is staggering: $700 million United States dollars, instantly placing this agreement among the top 5 pharmaceutical licensing deals of the last 2 years. If all goes according to plan, and every regulatory and commercial milestone is achieved, the deal's value could rise to a monumental $2 billion United States dollars. Meanwhile, Glenmark retains the right to commercialize the drug across a wide swath of emerging markets, from the dynamic economies of Asia to the burgeoning regions of Latin America, the evolving Middle East, and the vast, diverse continent of Africa. But what makes ISB-2001 so revolutionary? The drug is at the cutting edge of what scientists call trispecific antibodies. Unlike traditional cancer treatments, which typically target a single molecule or pathway, and even more advanced bispecific antibodies that target two, this trispecific antibody is designed to simultaneously engage 3 critical targets. It binds to CD3 receptors on T cells, as well as BCMA and CD38 antigens present on myeloma cells. In essence, ISB-2001 acts as a molecular conductor, orchestrating the immune system to recognize, attack, and destroy cancer cells with a precision and durability previously unseen in this field. The early clinical data is electrifying. In initial phase 1 trials, involving patients whose disease had resisted every available treatment, including individuals who had undergone CAR T-cell therapy and bispecific antibody treatments, ISB-2001 delivered an overall response rate of 79%. Nearly 1 in 3 patients experienced a complete response, meaning their cancer was undetectable after treatment. For the oncology community, these results are nothing short of groundbreaking, offering a beacon of hope to patients and families who had exhausted all other options. Yet, as with all major leaps in science, the road ahead is filled with challenges and uncertainties. Drug development is an arduous, expensive, and unpredictable journey. Regulatory bodies such as the United States Food and Drug Administration and the European Medicines Agency enforce strict standards to ensure safety and efficacy, and even the most promising molecules can encounter setbacks during extensive clinical trials. Rupal Thakur, Chief Scientific Officer at AbbVie, summed it up succinctly. Multispecifics, including trispecific antibodies, represent a new frontier in immuno-oncology with the potential to deliver deeper, more durable responses. But as Surya Patra, a respected pharmaceutical analyst, cautions, in the business of molecule development, progress has its own timeline, gestation period, and challenges. The financial stakes are equally high. Glenmark's leadership has made clear that the windfall of $700 million will be used judiciously, funding its ambitious research and development pipeline for at least the next 3 years. This is a watershed moment for the company, which has long grappled with the dual pressures of debt and the need for external investment. Should ISB 2001 deliver on its promise, Glenmark could complete its transformation from a debt-laden generic manufacturer into a vibrant engine of drug discovery and innovation. However, the risks remain significant. Unforeseen side effects, safety concerns, or a failure to achieve the desired efficacy could not only erase the anticipated returns, but also deal a blow to the company's reputations and future strategic prospects. To put this deal into perspective, it is worth examining the seismic shifts occurring across the global pharmaceutical landscape. Over the last 10 years, the industry has moved from a reliance on generic drugs to an era dominated by blockbuster biologics and precision therapies. The rise of immuno-oncology has been particularly influential, bringing forth treatments that harness the body's own defenses to target and eliminate cancer. Trispecific antibodies like ISB 2001 are the latest step in this evolution, building upon the foundations laid by monoclonal and bispecific antibodies. As David Reisinger, a leading analyst at Leerink Partners, notes, trispecific drugs may offer superior efficacy and safety compared to combinations of 2 drugs. The numbers tell a compelling story. The global market for multiple myeloma is expected to reach nearly $38 billion by the year 2028, growing at an annual rate of more than 8%. Within this fiercely competitive arena, AbbVie estimates that ISB 2001 could generate between $5 and $6 billion in peak yearly sales. For Glenmark, the prospect of earning over $500 million annually in royalties is transformational. It represents a quantum leap for a company whose roots are in emerging markets and underscores the growing capacity for innovation among Indian pharmaceutical firms. This deal also reflects a broader trend in pharmaceutical innovation: the decentralization of groundbreaking research. In the first quarter of the year 2025 alone, license-out agreements for innovative drugs originating in China reached nearly $37 billion, a sum surpassing the total deal value for the entire previous year. This signals that innovation is no longer the exclusive domain of Western powerhouses. Instead, a new generation of researchers, entrepreneurs, and investors from Asia, Latin America, and Africa is shaping the future of medicine. But every high-profile success in drug development is counterweighted by sobering tales of failure. Late-stage clinical trials are notorious for their unpredictability. A therapy that appears highly effective in smaller, controlled studies can stumble when exposed to a broader, more diverse patient population. Side effects may emerge that were previously invisible. Regulatory requirements can shift in response to new data or public concerns, further complicating the path to market. Glenn Saldana, chairman and managing director of Glenmark, reflects on this journey. We've gone through blood, sweat, and tears to get here. This validates everything we've built. His words encapsulate both the triumph and the ever-present fragility of pharmaceutical innovation. Beyond the boardrooms and laboratories, this partnership serves as a masterclass in global strategy. For investors, it is an illustration of the high-stakes dance between risk and reward, demonstrating how audacious bets on the frontiers of science can yield outsized returns, yet also how quickly fortunes can reverse. For aspiring scientists, Glenmark's story is proof that world-class innovation is no longer confined to the storied corridors of Cambridge or the bustling campuses of Silicon Valley. Determination, vision, and strategic partnerships can propel companies from emerging markets onto the world stage. Patients and families are at the heart of this story. Every molecule that advances through the clinical pipeline represents another chance to chip away at diseases that once seemed invincible. Cyril Kanto, Chief Executive Officer of Ichnos Glenmark Innovation, describes the deal as a defining milestone in our journey, accelerating the development of ISB 2001 and strengthening our focus on next-generation assets. Let us zoom out even further to consider the implications for global health equity. Deals like this are not just about inventing new medicines. They are about who gets access to them. Glenmark's lead role in commercializing ISB 2001 across emerging markets, regions often overlooked by global pharmaceutical giants, could enable millions to receive potentially life-saving therapies. If this strategy succeeds, it could become a blueprint for future collaborations, speeding the delivery of breakthrough therapies to all corners of the world, not just the wealthiest nations. Take, for example, the evolving market for autoimmune disease treatments. In the United States alone, this sector is expected to grow at an annual rate of nearly 2% through the next decade. This signals not just a growing need for innovation, but also an expanding opportunity for companies like Glenmark and AbbVie to reach new patient populations. Looking to the future, several scenarios could unfold. Should ISB 2001 continue to demonstrate strong efficacy and safety in its ongoing Phase 2 and Phase 3 trials, it could become a new standard of care for multiple myeloma, fundamentally altering the treatment landscape worldwide. This would validate Glenmark's R&D strategy, attract further partnerships and investment, and perhaps even pave the way for an initial public offering for Ichnos Glenmark innovation. On the other hand, the road is fraught with uncertainty. Adverse events, unexpected safety issues, or inadequate efficacy could delay or even derail the drug's development. Regulatory agencies may impose additional requirements, slowing market entry and increasing development costs. Competition is intense. The field of multiple myeloma is crowded with innovative therapies, from CAR T-cell treatments to other bispecific and trispecific antibodies. Each new therapy raises the bar for both efficacy and safety. Regulatory agencies, especially following recent high-profile setbacks in cancer drug development, are tightening their standards. Any emerging safety issue could trigger additional scrutiny, delay approvals, and drive up costs. Yet, within this heightened risk lies opportunity. Vineet Gala, an independent pharma analyst, argues that this deal makes the Ichnos Glenmark innovation platform self-sustaining, shifting the narrative from debt-burdened research and development to a monetizable innovation pipeline. For AbbVie, already a powerhouse in immunology and oncology, this agreement strengthens its leadership in next-generation cancer therapies. For both companies, the stakes are immense. Failure would be costly, but success could fundamentally redefine their futures, as well as the options available to patients facing multiple myeloma. There is also a broader lesson here for the pharmaceutical industry at large. This partnership reflects the convergence of globalization, technological innovation, and scientific ambition. It is no longer the case that billion-dollar breakthroughs are born only in the world's wealthiest labs. As the stories of Glenmark and other emerging market innovators demonstrate, scientific creativity and relentless drive can emerge from any corner of the globe. For investors, this is a story about recognizing turning points, moments when a single strategic bet can redirect the course of entire companies and industries. For policymakers and healthcare advocates, it calls for a rethinking of how innovation is funded, regulated, and distributed worldwide. For scientists and entrepreneurs, it serves as a rallying cry. With focus, perseverance, and the right partnerships, even the boldest visions can become reality. And for patients, the progress of ISB 2001 is a beacon of hope. Every advance in cancer therapy is another step toward transforming life-threatening diseases into manageable, or even, someday, curable conditions. The journey is filled with uncertainty, but also with the promise of survival and triumph. Let us not overlook the human stories that drive innovation. Just 5 years ago, Glenmark's innovation lab teetered on the edge of closure due to severe funding shortages. Only the determination of its leaders and the relentless effort of its scientists kept the vision alive. Today, that same lab stands at the heart of a deal making global headlines. A testament to the idea that every medical revolution begins with a refusal to give up. As Glenmark and AbbVie race against the clock, the complexities of biology, and the shifting tides of the global economy, the central question remains: will this landmark partnership usher in a new chapter in cancer treatment? Or will it become a cautionary tale of high-stakes ambition in biotechnology? The answer will unfold in the coming years, as clinical trial data emerges and regulatory decisions are made. One certainty, however, is already clear. The future of medicine will not be dictated solely by the world's largest boardrooms or the most advanced laboratories. It will be shaped by bold partnerships, cross-border collaborations, and an unwavering willingness to challenge conventional wisdom. Whether ISB 2001 achieves its promise or faces setbacks, the impact of this deal will reverberate for decades, informing how innovation is funded, how drugs are developed, and who gains access to future medicines. If you want to stay ahead of the curve in the worlds of healthcare and technology, make sure to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. And remember, sometimes the next billion-dollar breakthrough is not born in the world's wealthiest companies, but in the determination of those who dare to dream and refuse to let their vision die. Stay tuned for our next deep dive, because the story of medicine's future is